Howdy and welcome back. I'm Oliver the Shoe Man, and today we got a really old beat up pair of army boots. Got a hole right there, and the vamp in this back section is just completely trashed. So, obviously we're going to be doing new soles and heels, but before we get to that point, we're going to be replacing this whole front vamp area and the back heel area as well with new leather, full soles and heels, and should get a long time out of these after we're all said and done. So right now I'm at the stage of building a last. I ordered a last that was very close to the shape that I wanted, and now I'm just refining the shape, refining the size. You see how much leather I had to add. I ordered a 12, which is what he said these were, and it came like a 10 or an 8, 9 or 8, I'm sorry. But we're making it work. I've got this one apart, and we're getting this one to the point where it's got the right shape, and now we're just trying to get the right size along the top so it'll look like that when we're all said and done. So we're gonna go ahead and get this taken apart so I can get the last fitted up properly to where they were before. So this is kind of, I'll say, the first time that I've tried something like this. I know the process, and I've seen it done before. And it's really, honestly, not that difficult. The hardest part is making the last to fit the right size and shape. The rest is just taking it apart, using the vamp and the heel as a, what do you want to call it? As a template. And then reshaping and relasting the boots. It's almost like practically going to be a custom pair of boots at the end of it. Because we're going to do, he wants a different style sole on there this time. So you will have to break in the shoes again because we're doing new footbeds. It's an old orthotic. But like I said, it should look like a fairly new shoe after we're done. We're going to be doing new straps for him as well. These strong pieces, or these long pieces that go around the shoe. We're gonna be replacing those. We're doing new toe counters, new heel counters, new linings. You see, it's got some holes in there. That's not good. Heel lining. I don't know if you guys see that hole right there. That's no bueno. It's gonna be the only thing that's gonna honestly stay the same is the upper part, the upper shaft. So it's not a hard job. It's just time consuming. Because like I said, you're practically building a brand new pair of shoes. And so it should be fun. A good little challenge. The customer will be able to get more life out of his boots. They're kind of sentimental to him. So that's why we're doing this. He wants to be able to continue to wear it. So I'm gonna get this all taken apart, and then once the last is shaped properly and sized, then we'll move on to the next step, because this is all the easy, boring stuff right here. That took a long time to get these where they needed to be. I don't know if you could tell. I added so many layers to the front. And like I said, I ordered a 12.5, which is what these were supposed to be, and they were way too short. It came from some other country. I forgot the name of it. But maybe that's why it came like that. I don't know. But anyway, we got them both to where they need to be. Let's see. It fits well. There's got a little bit of overhang on there, but that's because I did that on purpose so that the gimme will have something stitched to. You also have to remember that the uppers have stretched over time, so it's okay to have a little bit of play. And when the customer comes in for a trial fit, we'll be able to adjust it if it needs adjusting and stretch it out, stretch the uppers a little bit if need be. This is the other pair that I'm working on right now. You can see I got this back piece put on. I've also got a new heel lining because the other one, there's a hole in it. See, it goes a lot higher than what it was before. And that's because those holes right there, we had to cover that up. So I cut this tab, the bottom stitch, fed it up underneath because there was like a hole right there and right there. So I raised that piece up. We'll go ahead and stitch this back. We'll go ahead and once I'm gonna stitch it, we'll get the front vamps stitched on. We'll get it lasted and then get the footbed stitched in. What I did to kind of get the shape was I took the old footbeds, marked it out, right? And then that's what I shaped the last off of. And then I went from a side angle and kind of compared and contrasted, and then also test fitted the last inside the boot to make sure I had the right size. Now it's probably not 100%, but it's close enough to what we need, and we could always stretch it to where we need it to be if it's a little too tight. I'd rather it be a little too tight than a little too loose, because we could always stretch them. We can't kind of shrink it back down. I guess we could take it apart and adjust the last and relast it, but I'd rather stretch them than have to do all that. So yeah, after we get the front vamps stitched on, cut out, stitched on, we also got to do new linings. I'm kind of all over the place right now, I know, but oh, this is the heel counter. Heel counter is in good shape. I'm gonna reuse that. That one's already in there. So with this one, we're gonna take this back we're gonna take the back piece off, front piece off. We're gonna do the linings on this one, glue the counter on, and then put that piece on there. We'll stitch it all together. We'll get it lasted, and once it's lasted just means shaped around the last. Once it's lasted, I'll go ahead and clean everything up. We'll go ahead and dye it black, all one color. Obviously, the new leather's gonna look a little bit more newer than the older leather, but we'll do our best to make it all look uniform. I know that was kind of all over the place. I am a little all over the place right now. So I think what I'm going to do, oh yeah, we have to do new linings too. New linings and toe counters. So the toe counter was plastic. It was just crumbling. So we'll make some new ones out of leather. We'll do a new leather lining, a new front vamp, all stitched together here. And then we're moving along nicely. It's a slow process. Lots of time, lots of steps, but they're coming along good. I know they look rough, but we'll make it back into a shoe, I promise. All right, done for the night. We got our toe counter getting already shaped and drying. We're gonna let that dry overnight. Then this side, we got that heel piece back on, the lining. You can't see it on the inside, but the lining is in, the heel counters are in. I just kind of nailed the back a little bit to give it a little shape. It's gonna get stitched because it's a 360 Goodyear welt. This side is ready for new vamps. So we will let this dry overnight. Tomorrow we're gonna be cutting new vamps, stitching everything on, and hopefully getting it all lasted together. These are cut along great. You saw that we stitched the vamps, stitched the tongue, we stitched this back piece, and hold on. You saw a little bit of us lasting the shoe, the front vamps and the back area. So from here, what we got to do is stitch it together. This is technically where we would stitch the welt on, but because I'm gonna have the customer come on in for a trial fit, I decided to stitch it without the welts. And then once we get a confirmation that it fits good, we'll go ahead and stitch it with the welts. The size won't change with or without the welt. So it is coming along great. We're gonna do the same thing to here. Just take out all of these nails kind of as I'm stitching it. I'll take the nails out, that way it stays nice and tight. Do a buff off, and then have the customer come in, try them on. If we need to make any adjustments, we will. If not, we'll continue with the welts, the soles, and get these bad boys finished up. All right, got the back heel stitched. We're doing the front. And let me tell you guys, I did a crazy leg workout last night. And you would think sitting down, just holding it with your legs it wouldn't be a problem, but man, the action of like pinching it together so it stays, my legs are shaking here. I feel like they're shaking. But it's fun. I'm enjoying myself. It's just a simple stitch, kind of like we do with the welts. Taking out the nails like you just saw as I'm stitching it along so it all stays in place. And then just going around the whole shoe. And then once we're done, we'll cut off the excess, clean the boots up a little bit, buff them off. I'm going to temporarily attach a sole, just to give the customer the feel of like what it would be like with the sole on when he comes and tries these on. But it's very simple. You're just going in. You could kind of see the line that you have to follow when you're stitching it. So you don't want to go too far down on the boot, but you don't want to go too far up. But you can kind of see where the edge of it folds over onto the footbed. So that's kind of your guide to follow, I guess. But going 3 to 4 stitches at a time, all the way around the boot. Just wanted to show you guys the process. So I'm gonna do this and then we'll be back after the customer has tried them on and we're ready to go forward. We got really good news. Boots fit, they just need a little stretch. So we're gonna get it back together and get them stretched out after everything's said and done. Got the new welts on, the new front vamps in, that back heel counter. We're still gonna dye everything black, and so don't worry about the light color welts. But we're going to be filling in this cavity with shanks. Shank supports the foot along the edge here. And I'm going to add a leather filler in the shank area as well, just for added supports. Then we're going to be doing cork in the front of the boots. Alrighty, we're gonna sand this flush, and then we will be ready for our midsoles, and we'll be done with this project. So at this stage, we've got new welts on, midsole stitched on, and a wedge sole glued on. Now, next step, this customer wanted a double sole, which is using a wedge sole, and then a secondary sole on top of that. He chose to go with a Vibram ripple sole to go on top, just like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to sand this flat, bring it down the thickness so it's not so tall and heavy, and then glue a secondary sole onto it. Last step, put the soles on, stretch them a little bit, and then dye the black, polish, clean, condition, make that strap, and then you're good to go. These are looking really cool. Basically just a brand new boot at that point, almost a brand new boot, except for obviously these pieces. We're gonna, since the sole is too thick, gonna hammer the edges of the welt instead of running it through my welt roller. This just helps get the air pockets out, because this is what you're hammering on, and because the welt sticks out further, you can't really get a good bond or hammer strike, I guess you call it. We are done with these boots, and I am very happy with how they turned out. Could not be happier. Obviously the new soles, wedge soles with the Vibram ripple sole. We did new straps for the customers. New front vamps. I had the pretty bad hole in there and some bad cracks and creasing. This was the inside lining. We replaced it with leather. And this was that back heel counter that only went up to like right here, but remember there was holes right in here, so we had to cut a new piece and raise it up. We did a new heel lining, new toe counter, reused the heel counter. It was still in really good shape. And overall, just rebuilt these shoes. New footbeds, new everything on the bottom. The only thing that remained the same was the tongue and these side panels here. So, really cool project. For those of you that are curious, I charged about $550 for this. if I were to do this again with all the time and materials put into it, it'd be close to about 1,000. So you gotta think we're remaking and recustomizing a shoe while trying to line it up with the old material. So it takes some time, some practice. We got to do a custom last. These were the lasts that I ordered, and I had to see how much leather I had to add to that, and that took a lot. That took about a day just to make the lasts. So a lot of work, a lot of time, but you should get many more years of wear out of these. And as long as he conditions the uppers, he should get multiple resoles out of it. We could just rip this piece off and put a new one on when he wears through it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. All my information will be down in the description below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe for more cool videos.